Welcome to the Russell Hatch Show. We have Libby, season 36, again live with us to talk about the upcoming episode and also what we think is going to happen and also what just happened.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about what you have going on. And excuse the internet. Internet has been bad lately. On Libby's side as well, because I don't know, I guess everybody's on their internet. I don't know why I'm flashing like that, but I'm kind of going in and out myself. So first thing I want to do before we get into Survivor is talk about what you have going on, and I have it in the link below. You guys can check it out. If you can't go to your gym right now, can't go work out, can't go anywhere. So I think a lot of people are sitting at home trying to figure out what to do, and and you have something going on right now that could help that. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So I'm the head trainer of a gym called F45. We're global, and we do workouts now virtually via Zoom. So you can get a gym membership, a monthly membership, and you'll be able to attend classes and be coached by us. And then we also have an F45 45-day challenge. So it's a nutrition challenge, and it's focused in on just guiding you through nutrition, making sure that you're staying on track on your diet, your workouts, everything like that. And that starts on Monday. So we've been having a lot of fun because all of our original members, but then also members all around the world have been joining us, and our gym especially, just because Nino and I are a really good team. We're like brother and sister. And so we have a really good time, and our workouts are really tough. Every day is a new workout, and all you need is 45 minutes. So it's called F45.
So it usually lasts about 40.
What was that?
Okay. It's about 40. It's about 45 minutes of their day.
45 minutes throughout your day, or for your day. That's all you need. Just 45 minutes, and it's very functional. So you're always doing full body. You're doing movements that allow you to get stronger, to do any daily activity. It's not something that is going to. It might make you sore, but it's not going to be something that's like 100 tricep dips or something crazy. Like, it's going to be things that allow you to pertain that to your everyday life. And so it's really good. It's for every age, every fitness level. You make it as difficult as you want. And that way, if you're at home and you're bored, or you just really need something to like start getting back on track because you've been living the quarantine life, it's really good.
Okay. And if you want to check that out, I have it in the description below. And there's Libby's Instagram right there on the page with my Instagram. If you need to, you can find it through your Instagram, correct?
Right.
As well.
You can find it on my Instagram. Just go to the link in my bio. Plus, I post about it all the time. Always doing workouts, always doing trainer tips and stuff. And it's fun. We have a great time, and I'd love to meet more people. So a few Survivor fans are now members of our gym because you can join from wherever you are.
Yeah, okay. And we have right here, Libby and Russ is the new Robin Fishbag. It's better than Robin Fishbag.
That's right.
They don't have anything else. So, okay, Libby, before we get into the season, I also want to talk about you, and if they would call you for a second chance, would you do it? Would you drop everything? Let's say they call you and they say, Libby, we want you today. Would you get on a plane and go?
Are you kidding? 100%. 100%. I would go. Oh, sorry. I'm like reading the comments. It was like blurry or something. I would go in 5 minutes. I'd drop everything right now.
What did you do if you had to say, okay, I did something wrong, I would do this different? What would that be? What would you do differently? What did you do wrong? If you did anything wrong at all?
Oh, I mean, I feel like whenever you go out there, you think you're doing things right, but then I just completely like saw this, or I trusted this person when I shouldn't have. And I think that what I was afraid to do right off the bat was be the like dumb blonde that was like not making moves. So like
right.
Though strategically, like things like I knew how to make fire, I knew how to do things that were like, that would set me aside from some of the people that were on my tribe, that I was still too afraid to make the big moves because they were expecting me to. So I was trying to lay low and kind of be like a little bit lower than, like, low key than Dom and all these other people, because I didn't want a big target on me, but that didn't really work out very well. So I think that I would just embrace the fact that, you know what, like if I went back for a second chance, I'm there to play, I'm there to make moves, but I would do it more in a way that would like make me seem like I'm a really good player and a really good person to have on an alliance, rather than just like a sidekick, you know?
Yeah. So you try to use the dumb blonde girl thing as a strategic
Correct.
play.
Yes.
And you think that if you would have, because especially with women, and it's sad to say this, but it's the truth. When women play aggressively, then they are looked at differently. So there's a really fine line to play, and it's a game, but it's what you have to implement into the game to play. Either try to play that dumb girl type gameplay, or try to play the strong woman type gameplay. Now, both of them could be effective, but both of them are dangerous.
Right. Like both of them, because both sides of playing as a female and Survivor, it is just like, Kim right now, she's playing low key. Like that's always my favorite person. I'll always stand by. Like she's playing very low key and doing a great job at it. But for me, because we were playing with all just new players, they were all just out to like stereotype everybody because that's all you had. And so it's different. I see some of the comments asking about more. It was like one of the most that was a huge play on all of our parts, but it was tough for me because Dom I ruined my trust with Wendell. Dom was like, I don't know if I should trust her or not, and I really needed him to trust me in the end, and that helped me a lot. But it did really gain trust on my alliance's part. But then I could have easily flipped on my alliance and gained an entirely new alliance with Dom, Wendell, and Morgan saying, hey, they're going to vote Morgan, I'm going to vote with you guys. I could have made that big move, but I wasn't ready to make that big step. And so that whole Morgan vote did really affect a lot of my gameplay, because they figured that it was all my idea when it was our entire alliance. I could have just dropped my alliance and gone with them. It was something that I kept fighting back and forth. Like it would have made an entirely different game. I would have gained a huge, like, loyal alliance member like Morgan, but I would have lost 3 people that got me a lot further. So, I mean, I think that it's dangerous playing as a female, and it's dangerous playing either side. But when you pick a side, you just have to stick with it. And that was one thing that I didn't really know how to do when I was out there. I was just I think I like let the entire experience take over.
Right. Well, it's funny when we're watching them now, because
I stick with this strategic move.
Yeah. What we're seeing now is it's almost like they're not picking a side. Like Jeremy, you see Jeremy. Now, Jeremy's doing a good job by bailing on his alliance. It's important when you have to do it. Now, there's also times to where you have to fight for your alliance. And we haven't seen that really, because Jeremy voted for Denise. That was part of his alliance, to get rid of her at the end of the day. And then he votes to get rid of Wendell. And that was his alliance at the end of the day. So when is the point in time, and I'm kind of asking myself this question because I've never bailed on my alliance. So is there a time that you need to be like, no? And I mean, I fought when the numbers were 4-8 for my alliance. So you can fight. You can fight to the end with your alliance. Now, yes, it may get you voted out, but it also may keep your team strong. Because this is why I fight for my alliance, is because you need those numbers. And right now, as Jeremy keeps voting out his own alliance members, his numbers are dwindling down to nothing.
Yeah. And like he was like, I want to be Wendell's number 1, but then he just kind of like flipped when everybody was like, hey,
and I understand the move. I get it. But the thing is, I'm like, sometimes you have to fight for it. Sometimes you need them numbers. It's almost all or nothing sometimes. So it's like, you know what? I'm throwing this Hail Mary. I'm saving my alliance, whatever I have to do. Because he also has a walk away power.
Right. And that kind of reminds
So,
me of the time, like when it was the night that I got voted out, we all voted for Michael and he was part of my alliance. But I didn't know who was voting where.
right.
And it was like right before they put us on lockdown, like Sebastian and Jenna were together and Jenna looked at Sebastian and Sebastian they both said Michael. And I was like, what? No, like, okay. But that was kind of like the last minute. But with Jeremy, I feel like he fought because he was trying to get everybody to vote for Adam. He was like going everywhere, just hustling. But then he was just like, you know what, I give up. Like, I'm just going to have to go with everybody else because I'm done.
So you're blurry and this guy's like, Russell should be the one who's blurry. I agree with that. I should be the one who's blurry, not her, so you can see her clearly.
Yeah, let's see. Okay.
So we gotta fix that. So I don't know why it's blurry, but I even went on my phone to see if it was blurry. That's what I was doing just now, to see if it was just me or if it's blurry online. And I think it says Russell is clear, which is upsetting that Libby is blurry. Libby? If she uses her phone. You guys, y'all still hear me? Don't use Wi-Fi. She's gonna probably come. Let's see. We'll get her back on here. Another device.
Okay. Did it work?
Yeah,
Clear?
that's better. Yes.
Okay.
Better.
Okay. Awesome.
So I can get rid of that one.
Sorry, I reconnected, and so hopefully that will work.
Okay. Much better. Everybody wanted me to be blurry and not you.
Sorry.
I'm okay with that. That's fine. I understand.
Your lighting is prime. Okay. You look great.
And guys, I've called the internet service. I don't know what the deal is, what's going on. It's just everybody's at home using Wi-Fi. So please just deal with it as we have to. So if one of us go in and out, if we both go out, we'll come back. You know how it works. That's the thing with Stephen Fishback. They have a better internet company than I do. So they don't do this. Doesn't happen. So
we'll get there.
So now we have, yeah, I know, sooner or later. So we have, it's another thing that's crazy for me this season is we've been hearing a lot of Nick and Adam. Like, why are they going after Nick and Adam? Don't they have other huge targets like Tony, Kim?
Denise.
I mean, Denise. These are, and then we hear Nick and Adam, like the whole time.
I think I want to say it was because initially it was Wendell, and then they were like, well, we need to take out Wendell's side. And then Jeremy probably put Nick's name out there, even though, like, I can just assume that Jeremy because Jeremy said, he was like, Wendell's number one. I want to be there. So then that was probably why they kept saying Nick, was because someone, maybe like Jeremy told one person, we need to get Nick out because Nick is a huge threat. And like, then they probably just went for it because they were like, he wouldn't make a huge ripple in all of this. And so that was kind of the thing. But like that, Nick seems like a loyal vote. Whoever wants to get somebody out, Nick is like fighting for his life because he's like, I can't believe I'm still tell me where to vote.
I just think it's such bad gameplay when people vote out people that's not going to vote for them. Like, if somebody's coming after you, because Ben has been coming after Adam, and those two just don't like each other. So, if somebody's coming after you, I see why you want to give them. If they ever said your name in that game, if they ever wanted you out at one point in time in the game, you have to gun to them. You get rid of people like Yule, that would have been a trusted alliance.
Yeah.
Ethan, I mean, they would have never stabbed his team in the back.
No.
It makes no sense to me that you guys are getting rid of the guys that you can trust.
Right.
I they can trust Tony. Trust Jeremy will flip no matter what. He's showing it. Ben, I don't think they can trust him. So we're seeing a lot of good, loyal uh, people that you can trust in a game get voted out in this game. And to me, it's Yule. I mean, why would you choose Yule over Wendell that one time? And
Right.
things like that,
Yeah.
especially when Michelle was having a problem with Wendell. I don't know.
I guess it worked now well, not anymore now that Wendell's out, but Nick thinking that Yule was able to gain a lot of people's trust, and then Nick would kind of be on the back burner and not be able to build up a resume or something. I'm trying to think of like why Nick would want to make a bigger move. Wendell was very spoiled in our season because everybody loved him. He didn't really have to work very hard. He was very strategic and things went his way. So I think that that's kind of what he expected this season. And with Nick and all of them, like kind of being comfortable with Yule, he like almost made it seem like Nick, you stick with me, you're gonna be with me for like the entire time. And it worked. Like Nick was like, okay, done. And then Michelle was probably like, I'm not gonna flip because I don't want to make things difficult. So that was probably what it was. But like now Wendell just kind of like, now he has to really fight, and we have to kind of like see what he's made of for him being on the edge now. It's going to be kind of crazy.
We're seeing an entire season of people saying things like, oh, she's playing a winner's game. We got to get rid of her. Like, she's actually playing the game. Everybody's talking about now Denise and her gameplay and wanting to get rid of her because of her gameplay.
Well, okay, sure. But let's talk about the merge whenever she literally told everybody what she did to make her. I guess it might have been the rum talking. I remember when we all have our first drink during the merge and we're all like,
yeah. Like, it was almost like she was sitting. It was almost like she was putting down her resume for everybody right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you're not in the top 3. Why are you talking?
Right. Right. All right. I lost you.
Okay, I'm back.
It's frozen. I don't know if you can hear me. She is frozen. Maybe if you go on your, do you have good phone service there? Maybe if you go on your phone and turn off your.
On my phone right now.
There it is. You're back. Do you have good phone service instead of Wi-Fi? No, it's good right now.
Yeah, so I'm on.
It's better. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So,
this
Wendell, I mean, Denise, it was like she was in the final 3. She's making her case for the million already.
Yeah. Yes, that was so hard to watch. I was like, stop talking. You are now just in the merge. And then, like, I guess, like, I don't know. I think that maybe she needed to prove herself, maybe because, like, she thinks that people aren't going to really respect her or want them in her alliance because they don't think that she's playing. But, like, I don't know, because then that really wouldn't. I really don't know her, understand her mindset.
Okay, I'll try to. I mean, yes, you want people to understand your game, but you really don't want to break down your game like that until you're saying it for the, the big money. But maybe she thought that someone else was going to just start talking about it right there, because I think they did.
Yeah. And that's what it was like. Well, she had to answer because somebody asked her, like, what was the Sandra deal? I guess like she felt the need to answer, but I think that there could have been a better way around that.
Like, she could have also been like, I used 2 idols. I made a mistake because I wasn't, I didn't really know what was going on. My own alliance voted against me, Jeremy. I used 2 alliance. Yes, it worked for Sandra, but it really didn't. I wasted an idol. Like, she could have put it in a way of non-threatening.
Exactly. And then, like, move on. Be like, oh, what happened with Yule? Like, but no, she just was like, I don't know.
Everybody's like, oh, Queen Slayer. She got rid of Sandra. She's a great player. Come on, guys. Sandra's not that strategically. She doesn't play that strategic. Her game is as long as it's not me. So it's not that hard to get rid of her. So, I guess she gets to the end twice. She plays 4 times. She gets voted out, and then next time she gets voted out, she quits. So that's who we're talking about in this game. So now we have Tony. Now,
yes.
Tony,
I'm glad you brought me.
He played an amazing game his first time he played. The second time he played, it was crazy. I didn't know what he was thinking. The third time he played is now, and he is almost doing what he's supposed to. Like if I would have gave Tony advice, I would have said, Tony, as soon as you get in there, don't say a damn thing. Don't go look for idols. Don't do anything. And
Right.
that's a very hard strategic move for someone like me or someone like Tony. It's an aggressive player. It would be a great move by Rob because it's something that we don't do. So if we do it, it's hard to do. So I applaud Tony on going in the game like that and not looking for idols, not doing nothing but helping around camp. Rob didn't do that, and Rob went home early. If Tony ends up by going to the end of this game, I cannot see how everybody on this list, if Tony's at the end of the game with anybody there at this, he has to win. Because the threat that Tony had going into that game and still making it to the end is going to be in their heads.
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, Tony made a very, very good. When in one of his interviews, he was saying something that was like, all of these players, like, why are we going for the big guys? Oh yeah, they're like blocking me, but we need to be getting those people that are playing super low key because like those are the people I want out. Like I don't need them in my game. And it was like he knew exactly what he's doing. And I was just like, this might be like the interview that I'm like, dude, you're gonna win. Like you're so good. I don't know. I think that Tony is playing a really smart game. He's staying low key. He's playing a little different than what they're expecting. And so he's fun. He's still fun to watch. He's not being himself.
Right.
Not being himself. He's just doing the things that set him aside from the old Tony.
You see, we have a comment here where it says that Tony went saying that he had no plan at all. Well, that is a strategic plan for someone like Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, oh, Rob had to do that. He had to go in there and play aggressively because he had a target on his back. No, he did not, because look what's happened with Tony. Tony had a target on his back right next to Rob. I thought it was Rob, Tony, Sandra. Those were my targets.
Right.
I thought Parvati better work her way into the game and get her way deeper into the game. And I thought Kim would do the same thing. We're seeing Kim at this point. It's almost like she's not. A lot of these players, or some of them, not all of them, aren't really playing that hard at this point. Which I don't know if we can call it strategic play. Kim, she's going to get together one day and start taking them out left and right because she's such a great strategic mind. Well, is that her plan, or is her plan just, hey, it's working out for me, not doing nothing right now. I'm getting further in the game, so let me keep doing this.
Yeah. Well, I think the best Survivor player, I would think the best Survivor strategic move is to take each day and make a new strategy each day. Each play, you have to adjust. And if you go in the big strategic move, then you are going to be trying to stick to your plan. You're not going to be able to adjust to your surroundings or to your new players or to your new alliance or those crazy things. And if that messes you up, then you're going to go wild and you're not going to know what to do, So I think that Tony right now, instead of going in with a new plan or with his original plan, he's able to adjust now and keep a lighter mindset.
Yeah. Got a comment here that says Sandra slayed me. No, the jury slayed me. Sandra could never get rid of me. She tried. It never happened for her. So I would say that the jury slayed me on that season. Yeah, so Kim is, she's playing, this is what I think about stuff like, when people try to think outside the box and they say, this person, her plan is to stick with the big target and stay behind the big target's back. the entire game and get to the end, and that's her plan. When we try to think outside the box for others, then is that really what they were thinking? So I just want to see Kim say one time, my plan is to not do nothing. That's my strategic plan. I promise you I did it in. Because it's part of her strategic plan. Okay, I'm not going to do anything. Because if I played, I know what I have to do. And that's nothing. I got to hope for the best. I got to literally hope for the best for the first 2 weeks to go further in that game. And I understand that, and that's okay. But when you never actually say what your plan is, and we never get to see, because we never seen Michelle say, oh, me and Wendell are doing this secretly. Nobody knows it, but we're really aligned, but we're going to act like we're not aligned. And we're going to act like we hate each other. That would have been a good strategic game, but we never heard her say that once.
Right.
We just heard her say, he's terrible to me.
Yeah.
He burnt me. So that's all we hear her say. So as the viewers, we're like, okay, well, if that's the case, then for all women out there, do the right thing and get rid of this guy, because everybody's watching you thinking, please. And hey, I'm a Michelle fan. I wanted her to do well. She's still in the game. So I'm hoping the best for her.
Pretty low key. I mean, it seems like it. She's just kind of like, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. I just hope she has something to put on her resume if she gets like to the top 5 players, or if she even gets to the end. I hope that she didn't do the same thing. Like, I know she deserves to win, but like, I hope that she plays a little bit like bigger. She makes those bigger moves that you're like, oh shit, she can play. Like, all right, now not just like, okay, whatever you want,
right?
I'll do that to get me to the next one. That's like, that's not a winner's season.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work this season. I mean, when she won, people were upset that she won and said, hey, she didn't deserve to win that season. So she came out here to prove a point. So everybody's waiting for that point to be proved at this point.
Right.
So we're waiting for her to make them big moves. She had a shot, she had an opportunity, but she didn't take it. Right. And I think that if she does get to the end, I don't think that it's going to work this time to say, hey, what did you do strategically? I made sure I stayed out of trouble. That's what I did strategic.
Yeah. And anybody that is around her, if she does make it towards the end, are going to have made bigger moves somehow, some way. In some part of the season, there's going to be someone who did a little bit better than her if she doesn't kind of step it up.
Right. And we don't know at this point. We don't know what's going to happen. But I could see more Kim stepping it up. Now, Sam, I get on and off. Am I still here?
Yep, there we go.
Okay, we're watching Sophie play a pretty good game at this point. So it's crazy.
I am starting to become a fan.
Right, and so am I. I did my last players assessment that I do. I give the Russell Crown out. I give Sophie the Russell Crown because she's playing the best game at this point. Sophie is playing a great, and if she gets to the end, she's going to be hard to beat. If Denise gets to the end, she's going to be hard to beat. Mm-hmm. They have to get rid of Tony to win, though. They all have to get rid of Tony to win, because everybody on that jury is thinking Tony's still there. They're not seeing nothing else but Tony's still there.
It's doing
almost like if Rob would have got to the end,
and he's just like, okay, I'll vote this, but then he's still making moves. He's not like letting people say and call out who they want, but he's still doing something about it. I don't know. It's just crazy. That's what makes him so good. But Sophie's doing great.
Right. Sophie's doing great. I think that Sarah? The only Sarah, I don't see Sarah playing at this point. Now I'm thinking at the final 3. If Sarah's right now at the final 3, she's not winning anything.
No.
You know, if Jeremy's at the final 3, yes, he has an opportunity. Tony's at the final three, definitely have an opportunity. Ben even has a slight opportunity. It was a final three, and he was there at this point. Adam, for sure, I think does, because he has the argument with you guys is coming after me. My name was always on the board. I fought my way through this game.
Yes.
So Adam has a really strong opportunity.
Right. Adam played his heart out that episode. Like,
yes.
He was so scared, and like, he really fought. Like, I don't know if it was Sophie. I wish we could have seen more of like the discussions when it came to Adam and Wendell, but like, he was just like at everybody, like, okay, who are you voting for? Who are you voting for? He was just fighting. And I think Wendell kind of went back to what he's used to, and it's just like, when his name was being called out on our island, or like during the merge, he just like sat, he disappeared. Like, he would just like be like making jewelry. We would be watching, and he'd just be sitting on the log, and I'm just like, are you gonna talk? Like, are you want to do anything? But like, Adam really just fought, and I think that was what the only thing people might not have done was just like fight.
Right. I like the fact that Adam is fighting his way through this game. He's literally look back, see episode 1. Episode 1, he left and he went into the forest, and then he came back immediately. Let's get rid of Adam. He's looking for an idol. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm going to fix it. And he did. So every episode, we're almost hearing Adam. Let's get rid of Adam.
Yeah.
And either they win individual, either they win the challenge to not go to tribal. When he's a part of the challenge, like the puzzle part, he was a part of it at the end, him and Sophie, and they win that challenge and they don't go to tribal, and he's in trouble if they go. And then they merge. So he has more targets on his back than anybody so far. Mm-hmm. If I was going to vote, now, of course, I would be deciding between, at this point, Tony and Adam made it. I would be deciding between them two. And I think that these people will, because they all thought that Tony was going to go early, first or second. And I think that that's going to come into play when it's time to vote, especially if it ends up by being someone that's not playing. It's not actually doing strategic moves, where you don't actually have a resume.
Right.
Like, if you don't have anything to say, then why should you win the game? So now last episode, we seen Adam cry, Sophie cry, Tyson cry, and Rob almost cry. So it is everybody watching here, mostly everybody. We might have 1 or 2 survivors watching, but everybody watching, the odds are that they haven't played the game or nothing close to the game. A lot of people make fun of the ones that cry. Like Adam cries because he don't want to go home, and he's playing so hard. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys why you see this. You have somebody putting their heart and soul into this game. They're giving it their all. Everything they have right now, they're giving into this game. Adam's already been through quite a bit after his season of Survivor winning. Now he's like, I got to do it. I got to do it. So it makes sense to me, because that we try so hard at the game. That's why it pissed me off so bad when Sandra quit, because we get so much to the game. Sophie cries because she's being literally tortured. Now, they all are, but she's showing it. I don't know about your season. You can tell me, but season 19, it was the worst thing in my entire life. It rained. One time it rained 10 days straight, nonstop. Our hands were our skin was coming off of our fingers.
No.
Jason, he was the young black man on the tribe. He was white.
Oh,
I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, we were very fortunate with the weather. It only rained like 3 times. And like, I mean, the hardest part to me, I think, was just like, we weren't able to eat very much at all. Like, I lost 16 pounds in 20 days. And then I gained 3 pounds from the Tiki Taco Hut, and then lost 12, 13. I think that was only the hardest part, was like, like we only had a minimum amount of rice, but like the weather and everything was great. I mean, it was cold, but we never had to like go through a cycle. We never had a cyclone. We never had a ton of rain.
Yeah.
We were able to survive that part. And so that's where I felt we were really fortunate. And the other part was just like the enduring of survive, like the enduring of something of Survivor, but it wasn't as extreme. Like, so like, they're like being like, it sucks. It's hard watching.
Yeah. So so the reason Adam broke down is because he was on the bottom. He thought he was going home. He was fighting for his life. I get it. Sophie, she's being tortured, guys. This is bad. It's bad. And everybody was shaking. I remember one challenge that I was so chapped that I was bleeding. And I understood why Richard Hatch went around naked, because you couldn't wear clothes because it's just all wet. So we had to walk and do this and walk to the thing. Well, it was so bad that I had to go to medical, and they, she was like, we have to, it's going to get infected. So I pulled down my pants, put the whatever on it, and tried to heal it up.
Oh my gosh. No, I think, no, that's really bad. We did not. I think that before I could like really didn't shave because I lost too much weight, but like, I think, no, so it's terrible.
It's bad sometimes, worse than others. But Tyson cries because, he calls it, he said it, I feel like I'm weaker because I have a family. I don't believe that for a second. No,
I mean, like,
it made him stronger.
Yeah. He was talking about masking it. I don't know. I thought he meant like when he was masking like the situation with like his humor and his jokes, he's trying to make things not seem so bad because of his family. And I think that he probably cried because he was starting to think of his little girls. He was missing them. And like, I can understand that, but and it is tough. Like people with depression and people with insecurities, they'll mask it like with humor or making fun of themselves or something and not really dealing with the problem. And so that's kind of like serious, but that's also what part of Survivor like brings out of people, it brings out those insecurities and like you're very vulnerable. So I think that's pretty, that was like an emotional part. I could tell, like, especially coming from Tyson, like somebody who's so like, yeah.
There was one time in my entire career of Survivor says, when he talks and almost breaks down, he's talking about how bad it is at EOE and that he just doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there with his wife. It's the worst case scenario. Well, when I got voted off, my third time played for the first time at Redemption Island, I felt a feeling I never felt in my entire life. I felt lonely. Like I felt lost, helpless. And it was a feeling that I never felt in my entire life. And I was like, man, this is terrible. This is terrible. It's hard for me to explain because I've never felt like that before. But when you have a situation when you have some of these Survivor games where Natalie was there all by herself.
Yeah, when talking about that, I can imagine that.
And nobody talks to you. You don't talk to them. You don't sit there and talk with the camera crew.
No, they don't talk back to you. I always tried. And they would they would just kind of like smirk. I'm like, so.
I'll tell you a story about the camera crew one time. I was on Heroes versus Villains. Me and Rob went off to look for food, I guess. I don't know what for, but we were walking together. It was the beginning of it before I think he was gunning for me the whole time, and we walked to this little section to where nobody could see us. And it was like almost just a little beach area, but you had to get there by walking through water. When we got there, we just sat around and talked, not about the game. And the crew members, now you got to remember, they didn't air season 19. They aired season So when I got home for season 20, the first episode of season 19 was airing that day
Right.
when we got home from 20. So we were sitting there, and nobody knew how I was going to be betrayed. I was nobody. The camera crew that worked with me before that were there, but they didn't know the gravity of anything and how Russell Hanson would be betrayed on TV. They just knew I went to the end. So, in my mind, I became that character, that King Russell guy, and I was King Russell.
Right.
And that was still my island. And that's who I was.
Yeah.
That's what had another story. I ain't going to get into it, but I stayed that character outside the game for years. And that is the negative aspect of Survivor and what happened to my family ultimately. So when you play a big character, and then you get invited to do this and that, you're always going all over doing all kind of stuff. I wasn't able, I let it get the best of me. I wasn't able to get back to who I really was as a person.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another whole YouTube video. We'll do one of them later.
We'll talk about Survivor sometime.
Right. So we're sitting there on the beach, and the camera crew, they some pictures with Rob and them on the beach. And I'm sitting there. Yeah, I'm sitting there like, you do not know who I am? Like, you better get a picture of me, because you about to see what's about to happen, because nobody see it didn't happen yet. So every single one got pictures with Rob, and none of them got a picture with me.
Dang.
I was like, what is going in the back of my mind? I was like, who is this guy? First of all, I wasn't a Survivor fan. I never watched the show. So, and what did he do to make these cameramen stop filming and take pictures of him?
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know, in Heroes versus Villains,
that secret.
This one might get me. Okay, tell us your secret.
No, it's just like, it's like a secret. It's like kind of a fun secret to have, you know, like I used to work at SeaWorld. I won't go in with like what I did, but like when people would be like,
was you a character? You had to be like Cinderella or something.
We're another podcast.
Let's just go ahead and say what you were.
But it's like when people don't know who you are, but you get to walk around and like be like, oh, just enjoying the park. But like, really, you're kind of a big deal. That's kind of like what you were like you just get to be like, nice. I'm glad that you think that it's like, he's cool, but little do you know. And just you like. Right.
So you was like the queen and over there at Disney World, like Cinderella. Then you're walking around amongst the you know, what do you call them? Peasants. And you're like do you not know that I'm actually Cinderella? Little girl. You just cut in front of me in line, little girl.
About an hour.
Right? So no, it was funny to see that. And I was like, you know, this guy, I'm about to get rid of this guy. They want pictures with him. Somebody said, I can see Libby more like Snow White.
This low raspy voice. Have you ever seen Snow White? No way. There's zero chance I could ever have the voice.
What would you be though? Come on, guys, give us comments while we're talking on who you think that Libby was in Disney World.
Pluto. Who knows?
Who knows? Got to be somebody big. So I'll tell you another thing that they did that's a secret that only 225 people get to hear. Well, whoever watches afterwards. But it's in Heroes versus Villains, when I played season 9, after I played 19, we were suffered. I remember poor Shambo one time sleeping in a puddle of water. Literally, I was like, Shambo, you can't sleep in water. Like half her body was in the water. And I was like, you can't do that. It's dangerous. So we tried to, trying to make spots for her, because when they did a switch and whatever they did. So it was bad. And then season 20, we had one time where it was raining. So like it rained every day for season 19. We had one of those monsoons and everybody went crazy. Like Randy took his shirt off, started roaming around like he was
Yeah.
losing his mind. We had Parvati crying. We had Courtney hollering, saying, "Why y'all doing this to us? I can't believe y'all letting this happen." To production, everybody was all cuddled up, bundled up. Me and Parvati was looking for a hole in a tree to climb in. Like it was bad. So production brings us dry wood.
What?
And I was like, yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, and this was after I suffered in 19. I was like, oh, it must be nice to be an all-star.
Wow. Yeah, no,
I mean, it was bad. It was bad. We could have lived though. We would have lived if after we was able to start a fire. Then, and they don't do that. That's why you made that reaction. They don't do those type of things, and that's why it shocked me when they did. They had a few people that season was while that storm was coming that was threatening to quit, and I think that's why they decided. I think one season didn't they take them completely off the beach?
Yeah, that was I think millennials versus Gen. Yeah, I think it was millennials versus Gen X. I think it was the cyclone that that Adam was on. I think because I remember Michaela. I want to say it was that season. They had like a huge cyclone. It was like pretty dangerous. No, we tried to hide under our tarp, like under our like bamboo sheet that we won one time.
Yeah.
Production was like, "You got to get out of there." Like they were like, "You
They
have to."
wouldn't even let y'all do that.
We weren't able to like be under it because then they couldn't film.
Wow.
So I
Yeah,
remember
y'all was under it and talking. Yeah, they don't let y'all do that.
like huddled and yeah, and like they were like, "No, y'all gotta get out."
God, it's so bad on there at some points in times. Like I can blow. I remember being able to blow. You know how you blow smoke when it's cold, and I was like, "Holy crap! If it rains right now, we are screwed."
Yeah.
So
one time,
it's really. Go ahead.
One time, our tribal council went so long, and it was Dom and I. And Dom and I always took care of the fire, and Angela always like got the stuff, but I knew how to make a fire really well. So Dom and I were very comfortable like taking care of the fire. But our tribal council went so long that when we got back to camp, it was pitch black and our fire had gone out. Everything went out. It was like so pitch black that we were just having to like find things, and we made a fire in the dark, like in the pitch black dark. Nothing.
Did I lose you?
Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
I hear you. Was you talking by yourself?
Okay.
What happened? Did I just disappear?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, for like a second. Well,
okay.
I was talking about when we got back from tribal council one time, we had to come back to the camp and it was completely black. We couldn't find our flint. We couldn't find anything. And Dom and I managed to make a fire in like the dark, like literally close your eyes. This looks right. Sure.
Yeah. What I do is when I leave camp, there's a few secrets that we did. And one of them is you make a big fire. You stack some wood together. You make a big fire. It could still rain and you will still have embers underneath the fire. So
yeah, I think
anytime we go to tribal council and it's cold, we make a huge fire.
Yeah.
I tried to hide I was able to, I don't know if you remember the note from JT to me, the love letter he sends to me, and I let Parvati read it out loud in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Well, that note survived because I didn't put it in my bag. I didn't want anybody to see I still had it. So I buried it. So that note survived rainstorm after rainstorm I wrote it up in I might have it around me, but I wrote it up in the parchment paper from the idols that I found. I found like 3 idols. So I had a bunch of them laying around. So I wrote it up in them and just buried it in the ground, and it stayed
because it's
cool.
The most meaningful thing. Like, I mean, we got Libby and Russell are quite
See, I knew that was coming. Maybe we did. Maybe I was in Disney World too. Maybe we did the Beauty and the Beast. Maybe that's what we do.
Boom. That's what it is.
Now y'all know. Now y'all know. So I'm really enjoying the season.
And
Who do you think at this point in time is playing the best game? Who do you think that is?
I think
Like if it was the end today, excluding the fact that Tony was a huge target, excluding that you don't even take that into consideration. If they had to say a winner today, then who would it be?
right now,
Yeah,
based on the moves and everything.
based on what we're seeing now, if all of a sudden Jeff said we're picking a winner right now,
I
there's two that I really like.
yeah. I'm gonna
That I
now
there's three, but
Adam two different games, but they if they were picked right, if they had to pick winner right now, I would say Denise or Adam, because Adam is fighting hard and being
right,
the survivor.
that's my two.
Look at my resume. I did things that are awesome.
Right,
So
right.
those are
I would definitely say Denise.
but there's a
Adam, I think Denise would be. I think with Denise, she would say, "I made the big move. I got rid of Sandra," and then Adam could say, "God, y'all was trying to get rid of me from day one. I'm still here.
yeah.
Every day, y'all, I fought to stay in this game. Every day." So
Yeah.
I would literally have to choose Adam at this point in time because his resume looks better. Yes, Denise has a big move. Yes, Sophie's playing a good game. Yes, Jeremy would be part of that. But Adam, if his speech would be right, I think you would have to give it to Adam. If he breaks it down like it should be broke down, you know. And the crazy thing is, oh, she froze on me. Y'all still hear me? Am I gone?
Did you lose me? Okay. What about
Oh,
now?
you're back.
Okay.
I lost you, but you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I heard.
So at this point, who's playing the? Okay.
I think the
Okay,
worst.
who's playing the worst?
The worst game right now. The worst game right now, I'd say. I mean, well, Wendell just got out. I think. Oh man, this is really hard because
so you would have said Wendell?
Wendell, I love him. It's so hard for me to say that, but he was just
No,
kind of
I get it.
chilling.
I get it.
I think
they were just kicking it. Him and Michelle, by the way.
What was
They
that?
was just kicking it. Him and Michelle was just kicking it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, right now, if we go with players that aren't making any moves, or we go with players that are not doing or that are doing things that are kind of wild, so a player that's not making any moves right now and just kind of chilling and doesn't really have anything to say, which I hate saying this, but Kim isn't really doing much right now. It's not really playing. Right. So if we're basing it on right now, this moment, pains me to say that because I love her, but she's not doing anything. She's a reason because there's still so much game left. But then another player, I mean, Sarah's kind of on the back burner right now. She's not really doing anything either. So she's kind of Sophie take the reins, which is going to be really hard for her in the end if Sophie and her both stay together. It's going to be hard for Sarah to win over Sophie.
Right. Yeah, I think that the worst player would have been Wendell. And maybe it was editing. Maybe it was just all editing and what they showed us. Because what they showed us just wasn't, I'm sure Wendell's a smart guy. He watched it. He understands why people will be like, oh, Wendell's a villain now. Wendell's a villain now. Mm-hmm. He may not like it, but I seen an article that it said that they were actually playing together, which he said he didn't understand when he watched it that Michelle was saying those things about him.
Oh no.
He said he couldn't, he said that it didn't make sense to him. But he also said that they weren't dating. Now, I did a little thing on them two dating. It's like, Wendell, if you're with a lady friend for 24/7 and talking to them all the time, and you're whatever else with them, then uh, that woman is going to probably think you're dating. Whether you said, hey, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend or not, you have to respect the fact that that's normal for a woman to say, yes, we're dating.
Yeah, it is. But then also, like,
period. I know a lot of women like, yeah, if I'm going to be intimate with you, we're dating. I don't have to say it out loud. I mean, this isn't high school, right?
Yeah. I hate that for them because I really do think it was just like all editing. And like, I mean, any guy can just like kind of like, she thought we were dating, whatever. We're like seeing each other. Guys do it all the time. Girls are like, whoa, wait. But then of course, like people are going to favor the guy because the guy's like, you know, if they were serious, the guy would have been like, we were in a relationship. Then you're like,
oh. I'm saying it. I'm on her side of this.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, they would definitely get dating, and it's unfair. She has to watch it and think, did he really think that? Does he really think we wasn't dating? Because it seems like in his mind they were just kicking it.
Like, if I was Michelle, I'd be like, wait, what were we then? So yeah, that has to be a little awkward watching back. But I think Michelle isn't playing the worst game. She's not playing the best. But are we going to count EOE players? Like, are we going to go like right now? Like, are they counted because some of them can, or one of them can still come back on? So they're still in the game.
Right. No, they're still in the game. Do you think it's possible for one of them to get back in the game and get to the end? I could see that happening because if they get back to if whoever gets back into the game, I think they're getting to the end of the game because they're the ones you want to bring to the end. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, like Tyson did a great job coming back on the island and then saying like, okay.
Yeah, Tyson's another one we haven't talked about yet.
He knows what he's doing. He's dangerous. But I think that anyone that comes back on is going to be an even better player because they're like super dead, but they're already like super smart as well, like in the game because they're all old school. Like they're going to play what worked for them, but I don't think the new players are going to like even know what to do with that if they came back on. Like, I don't know if Yule came back on or, I mean, even Natalie came back in. I think that they would like take it to the end.
Yeah. I think that we didn't talk about Tyson that much, and I think Tyson did an amazing job by staying down on the down low as well. Now, if Tyson makes it to the end, I can easily see because he's going to play strategically to get there. So he's probably going to have a story to tell to try to win the money. Now, if someone else gets back in the game, let's say Amber, Natalie would be the easiest to get back into the game. She's a beast. Let's say she gets back in the game. She would have had to beat Rob to get back in the game. But I think that whoever gets back into the game is in the final three. It's late in the game. That's who you want to take.
Unless the alliances, like, which I don't see this happening because there's like literally one alliance, Sophie and Sarah. But unless the alliances are just super like solid when that second person comes back in, I mean, they could just be like, hey, you know, like this ain't gonna work. You came back in, but my alliance is solid. We're voting you out. But like, I mean, I don't know. I don't see that really happening because none of the alliances are solid. And they probably won't be.
Right, none of them. Yeah. So I think that I can go ahead and assure you that if it's later in the game and they got like a final five or something, that person's going to the end, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, it might be like another.
So it's almost I wouldn't say it's unfair. They do have the opportunity to speak for $2 million. $2 million,
yeah.
Ultimately, any other game, they would be home or Ponderosa or voted out.
Right. Well, I mean, like just like with Chris won his season, Chris Underwood, and a lot of people gave him so much shit about it, and it was just really rough because like he still had to play. He had to play the entire time, especially when he was like in worse conditions. So I think it's just a different game. Like it's just a different. It's a different like outlook on it, and it's a different way of like, okay, Chris fought his way back and he did what he was supposed to do and he won. That's like, he deserves $1 million. But like, again, he really wasn't around the jury either. So I don't know. Like, it's hard because like with Chris, that was another thing. This is EOE. So it's like, I don't know. That's just my.
So are you okay with EOE? Do you like the concept, the edge of extinction? Do you?
Yeah, I like it. Like, I think that it's hard to watch sometimes because they have so much airtime that they can put on the island, and it's hard as a fan to watch it because you don't know anything that's going on. So like whenever they're like talking about how rough it is and how it's the worst place ever, you don't know because they can't really afford to put that airtime on that episode. So it's like,
yeah, like
I'm fine with it, but then also just like it sucks because you're not really able to see it. You're not able to see them play. You're not really. So how can you really vote for them?
Right. That's an interesting concept right there. I just put on the screen. Now, Tyson would get voted out and get voted back in and then won back in. I think that's a different story.
Oh, it would be the hardest thing to watch him get voted out 3 times. That would probably like, I don't know. That would be really.
Who keeps texting?
Yeah.
They're driving me crazy. Who's that?
They're driving me crazy. It's work, but yeah.
So that would definitely be an interesting concept. And I think that's the only way at this point, unless now Tyson can win the game and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Somebody else comes into the game at this point when there's 5 people left, I probably would have a problem with that unless it's Tyson. If it's Tyson, give him the win. If Tyson got voted out, wins himself back in this game again, you have to be like, okay, this physical aspect alone, which usually does not come into play.
Right.
Ozzy, comes to mind. Physical players in the game usually doesn't win at the end of the day, but super physical players. But Tyson, if he won 2 EOEs in a row, and if he eats peanut butter again and wins again, peanut butter needs to endorse him.
For real, like Jeff, hello, like you need to get on board with that. Right? That would be wild. I mean, it would be like, he would be the best of all time. Like it would just like, he like so much respect. I think that would be amazing. I don't know. Some people keep thinking like my friends, I guess maybe because they just have really watched the season or watched my season. They're like, I think Wendell's going to come back. So, maybe Wendell.
What do you think? You played with him.
Yeah.
Is he super talented? Now you can be an Olympic athlete. We've seen Olympic athletes on the show and not be good at challenges. Like these are different type of challenges. You can be Mr. You can be Mr. Olympia. You're in trouble if you play Survivor and you're Mr. Olympia because you're not going to do well in challenges at all. If you see the big boys, you see James go down twice. You see Big Russell in my season go down, shredded. When you go into the game of Survivor and you shredded, you see Beast Mode Cowboy go down. So these boys go down for a reason. You know the reason because you're a nutritionist and you know that you cannot starve yourself being that built and being able to survive.
Right. Food, it's like mental fuel back like in that case. And it's with Wendell, I watched him diminish, but still be able to like think straight and do puzzles. And he was great. He was always so good at just like anything because he's very handy. He sees parts and he can put them together. Right. So I don't know. He would be a big threat for me to think of being on EOE and like having to go against a challenge with him. Yeah. Really well under pressure. So I think that he's going to be a big threat to come back.
I think he could do well. He's smaller. He got a smaller frame. He doesn't have to worry about none of that. If it's some kind of challenge where you're holding yourself up. Because if I have to hold myself up on a pole, I'm going down. Like I'm going down like Michelle right off the bat. because I'm too stocky. I can't. My arms are too short.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So somebody like Wendell could do a challenge like that much better. Hold my arm in the air. It's hurting right now. Seriously, it hurts my shoulder to hold my arm in the air. So it's not a position that I was used to, especially in school. I never raised my hand. Never knew the question. So women are more adapt to challenges like that because we have big shoulders, big arms.
A beast in any of these challenges. Like she
again
surprised, I guess, like because of her like lack of advantage, but like that she would have. I feel like if she was like head to head, I mean, Tyson is hard to beat. Like that whole thing with the ball trying to get up, that's very difficult. But like I feel like she could have been right up there with it. You're sore.
I hurt my shoulder. It doesn't take much.
Russell.
I need to come on your thing so you can train me.
Yeah.
I got too much. I got movement. I got movement issues. So let me tell you, you're talking about that arm challenge thing. Harvey, I don't know if you know this, but she held her arm in the air for 6.5 hours.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. That's crazy. Crazy.
Now, whenever I was preparing, I was watching and I was trying to hold it up as long as she was. And like, right. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do this. And then when it would be like 6 hours, I'm like, oh my gosh, imagining.
Wait, how long did you do it? How long did you hold your arm up for?
2 hours. I ended up doing it for 2 hours. But 6
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that was
2 hours is impressive for me. I can't do it. You beat me. That's for sure. So as a nutritionist and what you do, you maybe not, are you licensed in something like that? Or because I want to talk about the peanut butter thing in Tyson. Everybody talks about, did the peanut butter help Tyson? What do you think?
So in that case, peanut butter is like super high in fat. It's a lot of calories for him. It could have like possibly hurt his stomach because fat's really hard to break down for your body. Peanut butter doesn't have a lot of fiber in it or things like that, but like it's really hard for his body to break that down. So being a guy that's like Tyson's size, I mean, he ate a lot of peanut butter. I'm really surprised he was able to function because that just sits there. Your body that like the metabolism isn't high, won't break it down as fast. So, however, like Survivor, what I did going into Survivor was the ketogenic diet because I was like, okay, fat storage, like that way my body is used to intermittent fasting and it will hold on to fats, like higher calories. So if he would have eaten something like bread, something very like complex carbs, it would have.
But he was eating rice. He was eating rice and peanut butter.
Right. So that's good. Like carbs and fat together aren't like the best combo, but it's easier to process versus like fat and protein. So I think that like the whole peanut butter, it's very surprising that it didn't. Sorry, I thought I turned it off. The whole peanut butter thing, I'm surprised it didn't hurt his stomach, but the time that it took between the challenge and him eating, it was fine. Like the calories, it was like high in sugar, so it was able to make him focus a little bit more. It's still a little dangerous. I remember eating when we won the steak and the chicken, we couldn't save it. You can't save food, especially meat.
Right.
I literally like sat straight down, like straight flat after eating the chicken and the steak. And I was just like, I can't move. I don't want to move. I can't.
Right. No.
Shock.
No,
like I look at the food in my stomach right now. I can see it. And like it messes you up. You win those food challenges and
oh no, they're terrible.
Yeah.
But they're great and terrible at the same time.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, do you think that the peanut butter helped them in that challenge or hurt? Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
So we won.
Peanut butter is a great energy source. So even though I'm surprised it didn't hurt his stomach, it's a great energy source and it had a lot of sugar, which he needed.
Yeah. Because a lot of people were debating on, was it the peanut butter or was it not? Like a peanut butter commercial needs to get with Tyson ASAP.
Yeah, for sure. Like right now while it's hot.
Right.
Yeah.
So we did a challenge to where we ate. Just imagine this. You had chicken and steak. We did have the Outback challenge that we won, but I ain't talking about a challenge. We won a candy chocolate challenge, like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Just imagine when we were headed back to the, you drive to locations because there has to be in different locations. The van to say anything, so it's legit. But they were like, you have to stop. Like, we have to stop. They stopped at least 5 times in these poor little towns while survivors are running in the bushes.
Oh my
Can you imagine? Cakes
No.
and peanut butter. Everybody just eating and eating and eating.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the sugar. Like, your body wants it so bad. Like, when we won the pastries and the chocolate, and I mean, we won peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Literally, it changes the entire experience. But if it's like things that are like harder to process, you're just like, I'm like the Tiki Taco Hut. Like, oh my gosh, that.
Oh, the experience has to happen. It is so worth it. The merge feast is so exciting. You just can't wait to have it. And you get all this food, and trust me, guys, it might not look like a lot, but it always filled us up. Always.
Oh,
so amazing. Some of the best foods I've ever eaten in my life were on Survivor.
Oh my gosh.
I used to never like, it's weird how it works too. It was weird how it messes with your mind, because I used to never like hot dogs. And when I ate them, but I didn't, I mean, they were okay to me. So when we did the challenge, when we got to sit on somebody else's, I think it's the time I got rid of Tyson with his own fate. But then we had to sit there and watch the other people do their tribal while we were eating.
Mm-hmm.
It literally was the best hot dogs I've ever eaten in my life. And now I love hot dogs. Yeah.
Now, like, you eat it and you're like, I'm back on the island. Like,
it's weird. I don't eat bananas usually. When I do, I close my eyes because it reminds me of being on
toasted coconut.
Because we had bananas, and it reminds me of being on Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain, like, it's just weird, and I don't do it often. And I love bananas, but I don't want to do it often because I don't want it to go away. The feeling that you get, and it brings you back to that moment.
Yeah.
So we have EOE. Who do you think's coming back?
EOE, I think either Wendell or I think Rob is kind of just, I don't think he's going to be coming back.
If Rob comes back, he's definitely, well, if Rob would come back and they have an opportunity to vote again, I think they'll vote Rob out pretty fast. Depending on how, maybe not, I don't know. Because it's just so easy to bring that person to the end, because you have easy ammo against them. They just got back into the game, guys, you know?
Yeah, I think it's either, I'm going to say Natalie or Wendell. I think Natalie's like, what, I made it past the hardest part. Like, now I can literally do anything. And so she might be one of those that just like out of nowhere, boom, and then she just is like coming to run the show. Natalie comes back, she's coming back for she's going to be fire.
What do you think has happened? Because on any other given Survivor, we'd be saying Parvati. What do you think is happening to Parvati? Do you think, this is what I said it was. Now, Parvati loves the game of Survivor. She probably got paid to play. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just saying. And then in her mind, she's like, okay, I'm going to leave my girl, I'm going to leave my baby to go play Survivor for a financial gain that can help my child later on. I could see a mother thinking, this ain't just for me, this is for my family as well. Because I get whatever it is that they may have offered. Or if I win, then my little baby's set for life. I can see a mother doing that. But I see in her eyes that she feels just lost. And that's not,
It's It's a very valid point. I think now she's just like, she has that as motivation, but she just can't stop thinking about her baby and like her, just like being a mom and just her being Parvati. I think she,
Being a first-time mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
just put that pressure on her. Like you can just see it. Like she knows, she's like, I'm Parvati. Everybody knows that I play this epic game. And like, I think that she is just, that's a lot of pressure on her. I think now she's just kind of like, I don't know if I can do this.
No, I think that's exactly what we see, and everybody's seeing in her eyes.
Yeah.
Like she looks like a lonely mom that wants to be home with her child, but she loves the game so much and she's so dedicated. She's not going to raise that flag. It's just not in her to do that. That's why the look on her face when Sandra did it was priceless. Because I pressed pause and was like, "Yep, that's the Parvati I know,
Yeah.
and that's the Parvati that's not going to walk out of this game, regardless." And she would have more of her and Ethan would have more of a reason to walk out the game.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to production 2 days ago. They wanted me to, not for Survivor or nothing. They wanted me to do a video for somebody's their birthday. They were sitting at home, so somebody was putting together this little clip for them. So I sent them a video and was like, "Okay, what's going on with Survivor? You know, is it over? Like, what's happening?" And they were like, "Season 41 and 42 is already casted. They're supposed to be out there playing right now, and they're not, which is crazy and disappointing for a lot of people." But and then I was like, "Well, what's up with the clothes? How come I see all of a sudden, I see you may had this, I didn't. We didn't have rice and beans.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have when we went in with the clothes on our back, that's what we had, the clothes on our back, besides the swimsuit and tennis shoes."
That's exactly us too.
Well, now I'm seeing them get in with one outfit and then having a hoodie on it, EOE.
Oh, I saw that. I was like, wait, where did this hoodie come from?
Right. So I'm like, what's happening here? What's going on? So I asked, what's happening? I said, I don't like the fact that the game is, and I wanted to do an open letter to Ropes. I don't like the fact that it needs to stay on a suffering level. It just has to. That's part of the game.
Yeah.
Yes, we know it's code.
Like I feel like Jeff loves when they have to like endure something that's really hard. I mean, he was saying that.
Yes.
And like them.
But her reply made sense.
Oh.
She was like, "Well, Ethan's body's been through a lot, and we couldn't just give Ethan something and nobody else other stuff."
Okay.
So I was like, all right.
Yeah.
That's fine. I get that, because we haven't been through that. You may have family members that you know, people out there, I'm sure have family members they know that's been through cancer and been through chemo. Ethan was not only did he had one of the worst stages of cancer. Like Ethan was in trouble. Ethan, I mean, he was Skyping with some people, telling them bye at one point in time. Like he was in bad shape, and he fought and beat that. Mm-hmm. So his body it's not like anybody else's. He's been through chemo several times in his life. He had spinal taps. I mean,
yeah.
So when she told me that, I was okay with it.
Right. Then I respect that. So go, Ethan. Everybody wear jackets. You're still suffering. Right. We're fine.
Right. They still. And the thing is, if you get a hoodie soaking wet, it's just a soaking wet hoodie.
Yeah. Actually worse. It takes forever.
Worse. Takes forever to dry. Now people were wondering, and I'm gonna say this doesn't have nothing to do about this, but we've been talking about a lot about things, interesting things that have nothing to do about this season. When I played season 18, I got so wet so many times that it affected me. And in season 20, it didn't rain that much. And the last thing I wanted to do was get in the water, because I was thinking, if I get in the water, then I'm wet. And if it rains, so I hardly ever, even Sandra had a statement, Russell never gets in the water. I didn't get in the water because I was psychologically beat. The last thing I wanted to do was get wet after season 19.
Right.
And everybody don't smell too good out there, whether you get in the water or not. I'm just go ahead and point that out.
I mean, we were always like pretty. I mean, our season it was pretty warm and
Oh,
like
y'all smelled good. Your season, y'all smelled fine, huh?
I made the best. Where I was like, okay, time to take a bath. Like I just scrub down, like I
Did
exfoliate.
you use the use the sanitizer?
Well, oh, did I use the hand sanitizer?
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Well,
I
no,
did all over.
I didn't use it a ton because it started to dry out my hands, and I was just like, you know what, immune system's high, I'm fine. Like, but I use the sunscreen a lot. But then, like, I would use the sunscreen and then end up caking behind our ears, and you'd have to make sure that you remember to scrub behind your ears. So
Right.
gross. But
I had a buddy that played. I don't know if you remember Boo from Fiji.
Yeah.
You remember Boo from Fiji? He was top 5.
Yes.
You remember him?
Yeah.
When he played, he told me he put so much sunscreen. The mosquito was so bad. He said he put so much sunscreen. He caked it on, like you could still see it. And then they were like, "Boo, you can't do that, man. You got to rub it in your skin." Like he looked like he was doing a facial.
That. Well, with the comments, yeah, you do get a hand sanitizer.
Okay, the reason you get hand sanitizer.
Oh, you're frozen, Russell. I think you get hand sanitizer, you get sunscreen.
The reason you hear me now? Hear me now? Okay, let me explain this before people freak out.
Yes.
You there? Okay, the reason you get hand sanitizer is it's not for the guys.
Yes.
I'll just put it that way. It's supposed to be just for the ladies for certain times of the month. So if you can't understand that, then you shouldn't be in the chat room. So
yeah. So that was definitely like, but people, I mean, we made the best with our hand sanitizer, but like,
right.
And the sunscreen. Right. I remember when I was talking to Colby and the bug spray, because the bugs
you have to get bug
so
spray
bad
because they have
that was just
diseases. Right, they have disease.
I remember
it froze up on me. I don't know what's going on.
I need toothbrushes. I have to get a here. Phone's about to die.
Okay. All right. The reason you get bug spray is because you're in a desert. You're in a forest with diseases, and as you can see, Survivor does care about our well-being. They have a doctor there. If you go down, that you can get medevac. You see that happening often. So the mosquito spray is because of, it's not spray, it's a mosquito lotion. It's because of the problems that you can have in that game. And so it's necessary.
Yes. Yes. And like the bug, like I remember Colby telling me about one time in his season that there were so many bugs on someone's back, so many mosquitoes, that it was more bugs than actual skin that he could see on someone's back. So it was just like back then, like that was, I mean, old school, like we get it, but nowadays you just can't.
Well, you just can't because of
worry about
diseases they have. You know, you can get in. I'm all for making Survivor tough. Everybody knows that. But I also want to make it safe and healthy. It's not healthy if you don't eat all the time and you're starving, but you don't want to immediately get yourself affected with some type of disease. And that's what they try to keep that down. You've never seen someone, or heard of it anyway, of someone getting something major from Survivor or even dying from Survivor, which is crazy. I think they had somebody actually die in France on one of their versions of Survivor.
Oh, wow. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, I think that happened once, but never happened here. So you think that the best player so far would be Adam and Denise.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. And you think that who's going home this episode? That's what the whole point here. That's the question we're getting to. This hour and 24 minutes, we finally got to it. Who's going home?
I think that alliances are going to get all mixed up this round or this next episode. I think it's going to be a blind side.
You seen that secret scene of Nick again arguing with Sarah this time?
Right. I mean, mess with Sarah, you're kind of in trouble. Sarah really hasn't done anything to make her alliance members mad. So like, I feel like if Nick's trying to make a big move, trying to mess with Sarah, that's really like not smart at all. So I'm going to say like Nick, I think that he wants to be talked about, just like being a guy and like being on the winter season. Like he wants to be talked about.
But I can see Nick getting upset. I can see him getting upset and fighting to stay in the game. He was in trouble this last episode. So right. I can see it easily, him saying, that's it. Because that's what I would do. If I was in trouble and I finally got out of it, and then this person keeps coming after me, I'd be like, okay, me or you, let's do this. And then I would go for that person.
Right. I think Nick's in trouble. I'm going to go with Nick. I had to cut the,
Nick.
I mean, what a live
I think I'm going to go ahead and go with a shocker and say Jeremy. And I do not know anything. The reason I'm saying Jeremy is because winning individual immunity is a bad thing. Let's say Jeremy wins in a row. If Jeremy wins 2 in a row, first time he loses, he's gone. I don't know if I told you this, but did I tell you my research on winning individual immunity?
Mm-mm.
I did research on winning individual immunity, and more people has ended up by winning the game, winning 0 individual immunities than any other number.
Interesting. Okay.
Because it makes sense. They're not Tony didn't win any individual immunity. No. Sandra's never won individual. I don't know. I think Michelle might have won one, but yeah,
okay.
It's on and on. Not sure if Sarah's won one.
I know nothing about any of the results.
And did Wendell win any?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yes. Yes, because he had that big fancy bracelet or necklace on. He was like getting compliments on it. I remember it was like
okay.
It was like so messy. I mean, I know that was his idol, but I think that was like he had 2 at the same time. Now I'm trying to remember.
Michelle won 2. Who didn't win any? Natalie White didn't win any. Well.
Yeah. Well,
Wendell won 2.
Win any?
Huh?
Did Chris Underwood win any because he went?
Yeah. Did Chris win any? I don't think Chris won any. Todd didn't win any. Tom won 5.
Goodness gracious.
That's if you can win 5 in a row and get to the end, then go ahead and go for it.
Yeah.
Tommy, I don't think Tommy won any. I don't think he won.
Well,
okay, so
Nick going home, and either I don't think nobody's going to come back from EOE this season or this next episode.
No, I don't think so. But if someone was to come back, your pick would be, you said it was Natalie
or Wendell.
Wendell. I think she's a beast. Beast.
Really? Okay.
And
Queen.
Yeah. We keep breaking down here. So we're going to go ahead and end it. See you guys next week for Addiction with Libby.
Yep.
Us then with the show. We'll talk about this episode and what we think is going to happen. Go check out Libby's exercise thing she's doing. It. I don't know much about it, but it's on her Instagram. She's always talking about it. And the link is in the description below. If you think you're out of shape and you want help, do you talk to them personally, Libby, if they join?
Yes. Reach out to me, DM me, whatever you want to do. You can be living anywhere and join us.
And you would even help them with their diet?
Yeah, we'll have a meal plan and everything for them.
Wow. Wow. I might check into that. Sounds like a fun thing to me. I mean, we ain't really doing
Yeah.
nothing. You can't. So I ain't even been to the store. I ain't even been to the grocery store in 3 weeks. So I've been sitting at home just working on this. So go check that out, guys. It's in the description below. If you like what's going on here, comment below. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Subscribe, hit the notification button. You'll be notified when this thing pops up every Monday. And check us out. We appreciate you watching.
Awesome.
Keep hope alive.
See you next
Tell
week.
them bye, Libby.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much. See you next week.